Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Nicole Holland here, and I am super, super excited to introduce you to my friend Sigrun. She is a lifestyle entrepreneur, business strategist, and international speaker. Originally from Iceland, she has spent half her life outside her home country in Germany, the UK, and in Switzerland. And in 2014, Sigrun began building her business coaching practice based on her experience as a CEO, MBA graduate, and Dale Carnegie trainer. In 2017, she launched her first scalable online product, an MBA program for online entrepreneurs called SOMBA, or Sigrun's Online MBA, and is now running a multi-million-dollar business. Sigrun's motto is be inspired, think big, take action, which is the same title as her well-received TEDx talk. Sigrun brings a ray of sunshine wherever she goes. It's an absolute pleasure to have her here on the show today. Welcome, Sigrun.
I'm so excited to be here, Nicole, and it's a true pleasure to meet again on Zoom. We've met in person as well, and I cannot wait to dive into this interview with you.
Me too. Yeah, it was wonderful seeing you this past July. And we actually got to hug in person in Philly for Podcast Movement, which was a ton of fun. And I was also on your show. So that was such a pleasure as well. And so it's always fun to chat with you. So yeah, to start out, I want to talk to you about your branding because, I think building a personal brand is so important, and it's little things that people can recognize you by that you can weave into your messaging and who you are and all that stuff. For example, I have purple hair. People know me for purple hair, even if they don't remember my name, which hopefully they will, but it's a part of my brand. And, I love that number one, in your brand, you're just Sigrun.
Yeah.
No last name, but there's a reason for that.
Yes.
And also your color. So for folks who are just listening to us on the podcast, you can head on over to the NicoleHollandShow.com and check out the video because you can see both of us there. And Sigrun has her signature red earphones and shirt and stuff in the background. I know she's got a red iPhone. So can you talk to us about why the red and how this kind of came up and just more about your own personal branding efforts?
I must say in the beginning, I had no clue about all of this. So it's not like I was so smart in the beginning about it. I even on my website, we have to go back to January 2014. I had changed my theme 4 or 5 times until I realized it doesn't matter what WordPress theme you have to actually create some content. And I started to put out content, and there was no red. And there was also no mention that I'm from Iceland. There was not a mention that I used to be a CEO or that I have an MBA. I was almost like hiding myself. Like I wanted to blend in, but even though that's not really who I am, I wasn't just sure how to navigate in this online business world. It was a very new thing for me and very different from running a regular offline business. And I remember that I did my first ad in the middle of 2014, and it was green. And when I think about it now, I don't like green. It's really a color. I don't have a single clothing item with green. Most of my pictures do not have any green in the background, not even, any plants or trees. No idea. I think it was actually a webinar on Evernote, and probably that's why I picked the green. So the next time I did an ad, I thought to myself, maybe my ad should, be more me. So I just went into Canva, took red as a background color, and then put a circle and then my face into the circle and started to run ads. So every Facebook ad from me I would just change the title of my webinar that I was running, but every ad looked the same. And then people started telling me, I always know when it's your ad because it's always red. And I'm like, okay, that's good. So I just kept doing it. So it was like not really intentional in the beginning. If you went to my website, it was pretty much black and white, not much red. And much later, I also I was wearing a lot of red. Yeah. I noticed when I showed up for a webinar and I was not wearing red, people asked, are you not wearing red? So it was my audience that steered me a little bit into this direction. And I think the final thing came when I was at Social Media Marketing World with a group of clients. And then one of the clients suggested in the Facebook group, as we were preparing for our mastermind day, she said, let's wear red in the evening to honor Sigrun. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. And I was already in San Diego and I went through my clothes and I didn't have enough red clothes for all the evenings. So I had to go shopping. I went to Banana Republic and got a dress. And so I had enough. And it was such a hit. We were photographed again and again and again. And we started to use the hashtag Team Red. And it's just like a few days ago, I thought to myself, I'm doing a lot of videos and I want to be, wearing my signature colors. So I went online, ordered 8 tops, all in red. And I posted online. I said, yeah, you need to start your own clothing brand and everything's just going to be red. So the red thing, I've always loved red since I was a child. If you see pictures of me being 6-year-old or 8-year-old or 10-year-old, this is a color that has followed me. It's not that I wore it all the time. Typically, Icelanders actually wear black all the time. And I studied architecture originally. And architects always wear black. It's a non-color. So you want your house to be visible and not what you wear. But red was always like in between. So if I was picking something special and I saw something red, then I would always pick it. So I did not, like some people, like, oh, I have to find my brand colors. They were already there, red, black, and white. My room when I was 12 years old was red, black, and white. So I've just been, but I think it was the help of my audience. They really helped me recognize that this is a part of my brand and it's something I should talk about and wear and let people comment on it. And if I'm wearing red every day, that's fine. It's my favorite color. And now I do it more intentionally, especially if I go on video. And I also talk more about being from Iceland. I was probably 1.5 years already in business when one of my clients signed up. She's still my client today. She has an Icelandic horse. And she told me that she had noticed my name because it's a Germanic name, but it's very popular in the Iceland and less in Scandinavia or Germany. And she was interested. So I was like, okay, I maybe should mention it. And the more and more, I found more and more things like this. I have a motorcycle license. I don't have a motorcycle right now, but mentioning things that might make you memorable and stand out. And it has nothing directly to do with what I do in my business, business coaching, but it makes me stand out. And if I go to a conference, I make sure I'm wearing all red because, people are, oh yeah, the lady in red, Sigrun. So yeah, it's been a development, but now it's red all over.
I love it. And I love how you talked about the things that you mention that you used to not mention, because it makes us, in addition to stand out, it makes us human and real and approachable. And it's like, I finally gave up when I first started in 2015. I did my first summit and I had quote locked. You can't lock anything here. But in my house, it's all open concept. It's this little old cottage that somebody decided should not have doors. So I have 0 doors inside of my house, only closet doors. So there's bifold doors. It's very strange. But I'm like, whatever, roll with it. So when I was doing the summit in 2015, I locked my cats in my bedroom by taking I had chairs up against the bifold because they can get out of the door, right? So I had chairs up and I had tied an elastic between the knob of the closet door and the refrigerator to make sure they couldn't open. It was crazy. And while I was on an interview upstairs, I could hear them making a lot of noise. And so after I come down, my carpet in my bedroom is completely shredded. They the one of the chairs had fallen over. It was a disaster. So I was at first I was concerned, I didn't want anybody to see my messy side or my like normal side. I had to be very professional, or even that I'm not all that, like, I have purple hair, come on. But I wanted to put a persona there, and that I had my stuff together, I guess. And then I realized, whatever, like, I'm not going to fight them. So sometimes they would come up and, get in the frame, and I would try and shush them away. And now I'm just like, if you're going to get up here, I'm just going to hold you, because you're not going away. You want to be here. And people love that because they can relate, especially if they're cat people. And then people will like send me messages like, oh my gosh, I totally get that. Oh my gosh, your cat looks like my cat. Here, look at my cat, and they love it. So I think that's really important to, when we're able to bring in our own personal likes and habits, and if you drive a motorcycle, because people are like, oh my gosh, especially as a woman, right? So
yeah, one thing that really took off, this was a few months ago. I started a while back in May 2018. I started Alexa briefings, and I was not getting traction right away. It's a new medium and nobody knows me on Amazon and all that stuff. So I thought, hey, I can take these Alexa briefings and put them on Instagram and Facebook, because they are like mini blog posts.
Sorry,
super cool.
Can you explain what is an Alexa briefing?
So Alexa briefing is like a daily show, really, but a briefing, like really short. So you can subscribe to CNN or Gary Vee or Sigrun Sparks. And I decided to script it. So it's not like my podcast. It's scripted, and it's approximately 240 words each one. And I decided, okay, maybe it's not taking off on Amazon right away. There's no overnight success. We know that. But I took the script, and my assistant helps me find images. So she is like going all over my social media, Googling me, finding images, and putting it on Instagram for me. And one of them was, I'm a night owl. I don't get up early in the morning. I sleep in whenever I want to. I work late nights. My best ideas are after 11 p.m. The post, how many likes and comments it's got? It went crazy, because everybody else is saying, oh, you have to wake up early, wake up at 5 or 6, and then you are a real entrepreneur. And I said the opposite. People love it. And when anyone says that they were working late, and I'm like, fellow night owl. So it's almost like this, secret community of night owls.
That is awesome. So smart. That's amazing. Yeah. So, okay. Can I ask you to dig into Alexa a little bit, just for a little learning lesson that I was not expecting?
Sure. I read the book, Crushing It by Gary Vee. And in the last chapter of the book, he talks about voice first and how voice first is the future. And I got it right away. I was like, yes, voice first is the future. We are on the move. We're trying to save time. And that's why I love also a podcast. Like, you can be doing something else. You can be going for a walk and you can listen to a nice podcast. And Alexa briefing, or just generally Alexa, you just talk to your device. Now it's a device on my table. I have it turned on. Otherwise it would be talking to me right now. And, there's Google Home and there's Apple Home. These are all different devices. Alexa and Amazon are the furthest. And it's really super easy for especially podcasters to create Alexa briefing. You just set up another feed on Libsyn, and you make the setting that there's one episode going out every day. And you connect it. There's an Amazon Alexa setting. You go on a website, you just set up your show. If you don't have a developer account, you put it up. Super easy. You have to have a description for the show. You have to tell Amazon what should you say. So it says something like, listen to Sigrun Sparks, or give me Sigrun Sparks. Like, you have to decide what the cue is to play the show. And then it plays, and it even can now play with video. So the device I have on my table right now has video, and Gary Vee, of course, has his on video, sometimes not. And then there's just a frame. I decided to start mine in the beginning without a video. I thought it was just difficult enough, or not difficult, actually. It's very easy. So, if you're doing a podcast, this is like super easy.
But you have to like put yourself together to do a video, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I wanted to be able to record this on the go also, and just really, and it takes me about 2 days a month. If I'm really focused, it should be 1.5 days, but I'm a typical entrepreneur. I get distracted all the time. So 2 days, and I write 30 mini blog posts in 2 days and record it. And then I send it off to my podcast team and they set it up. And as I said, it's just a separate lips and feed. And once you have 365 episodes, it can just rotate for years to come. And you need no social media. Like you're not really promoting this like a podcast. It's on Amazon. And if you're smart about the title of your show, people will find it. Somebody started Inspire Me. So when you say to Alexa, inspire me, that show is going to come up. Super simple.
That's wild. Amazing. I'm just like in my brain right now, rather. So cool. I had no idea. Very, very exciting. Yeah. Wow. Pooh. Okay. So, I'm like, I have so many more questions, but I don't have an Alexa device. I think I need to go out and buy one so I can listen to Sigrun Sparks. That's so cool. I'm going to check that out. And let's talk about your, you have a masterclass that you do called 100K Framework Masterclass, I believe, right? And this is where you help people do what?
So, I was really trying to, start my business and, I want to go to 6 figures fast. Everybody was talking about the 6 figures. Now, I'm not a native English speaker. First, I was like, what's all the fuss about? Why 6 figures? And then I saw, okay, this is a good number. This is a good goal to have. And I did manage to go from 0 to 6 figures in 12 months, not exactly in 1 year, but once I had my first sale, from that moment on in 12 months. And it became a little bit my story in the beginning of my business, and it resonated with a lot of people. And I was able to help them to do something similar. And now, since I have a 7-figure business, it's kind of like, people don't really believe that they can build a 7-figure business. So from time to time, I do this masterclass and really show people how they can do it. And it was one email, actually, that was the spark for this idea, for this masterclass. In April 2016, I was launching a mastermind group. And one of the clients who signed up came to me or shared with me when we met at some point a few months later that she had signed up because of this particular email. And I'm like, what email do you mean? Well, the one with the 100K, I didn't call it framework, but the 100K solution or whatever. And I'm like, really? And I went back to the email, found it in my email system. I was like, yeah, it's like, even if sometimes frameworks are so obvious when you see them, and they're obvious to those who teach it, but it's a light bulb moment or a breakthrough for the other person. And I think this person was making around 20,000 a year when she saw it, and she thought, it's possible. I can do it. Just based on that table that I shared. And it's a mix of match of products and prices and how you do that. And I'm talking mostly for coaches, consultants, trainers, although this might also work for product-based businesses, but my examples are more product-based businesses. So I started to share this on a webinar, and people are like, wow, this is how it works. And I'm like, really? Yeah, but it's often the simple things that have kind of make people really believe. And I think that's probably the biggest problem for many women is that don't believe in themselves. And when they see something that feels so simple and so straightforward, then it's like, why didn't someone tell me this? Then they start to believe in themselves, and then they start to take action. It's often paralyzing when you feel you cannot do it. So actually in the masterclass, I cover several other things. I actually do take people behind the scenes of my $1 million business, and show that despite my education and my experience, I was 10 years a CEO, I have 4 master's degrees, I struggled in my first year of business. I put out the wrong freebie. I did a challenge without having anything to sell. I didn't learn how to do Facebook ads. I didn't know how to launch. Like, I had all these things, and I tried to sell an online course and one person bought. So if all of this happened to me with my education experience, then I just think other people also shouldn't be like ashamed or worried that they have to get some help. I needed help to take things to the next level. And then after I finally got it, it sunk with me how online business works and how you need to go through stages. I created another framework called 7 Stages of Profitable Online Business, or 7-Stage Success Blueprint is the one that I'm trademarking. And it's like you take your business first. In first stage, you're just doing research. I did some testing, one-on-one clients. I also tested my courses for free. And then in stage 2, you're working one-on-one. I was trying to skip stages, and a lot of people do it. It's like, oh, I want an online business, and go straight to online courses. That sadly, I've had a few of those calls. For instance, to get more iTunes reviews, maybe you've done this too. You give some gift, you say they can win a coaching session. So I did this, and I had a few women on a coaching session. They were not my clients. They had won it. And 2 of them, I remember this because I felt so sad about this. They had created massive online courses. We're talking about like 12-week online courses, videos, worksheets, everything. And then they were asking me on the coaching call how to sell it. And I was like, this is not how to do it. That's when you're skipping a stage. So I feel you need to go through stages in your business before you create that online course. You have to first test your idea for free. You have to then test it with paying clients one-on-one. Then you have to take it to a group, and then you can create your online course. And then it sells. Then it's like, feels like drinking water if you do it properly according to the stages.
So good. I can personally identify with that. I know when I quit my job as a correctional officer, all I knew was like, I needed to make money and I needed to figure out this online space, because I never was online. Like, I was a ghost, as I say. Like, I didn't do social media. I didn't have a smartphone. I mean, I was not in the norm. And I knew that living in a small town and having no personal contacts like that were in the personal development or professional development space, I've been 10 years without a business. So it was all new, right? And I'm going, let me figure out how to do this fast. And so I came across the people who I came across, and, the stories that they sell. And it's like, oh, okay, you're going to teach me how to do this. Okay, great. I'll pay you. And then I'm going, well, I'm not getting it, or it's not working, and I just didn't know the process. I love that you have that step by step, because so many of us have to have the experience of where we try the things and we pre-create the course before selling it rather than pre-selling. I mean, there's just so many things that we learn along the way, but it takes a lot of time, money, and pain. It's
Yes.
scary and it's heartbreaking and all of those things. And so I love that you create things to help people not go through those pains. And I'm just excited to help you reach more people sooner when they're even thinking about, like, what to do, or, even they have a job and thinking to move out of the job and start a business. It's just, there's not a lot of people like you, Sigrun. You're one of a kind.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about what you do and how you do it. And we're going to actually, on the show notes page, we'll have a link so that people can, your 100K framework masterclass is free. Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll have a way for people to get there. And I'm also going to just link it up at the NicoleHollandshow.com/100K. That's 100, the letter K. It'll take you right there. It's just a little bit early. We don't have all the pages set up yet. So that's how people can get into that. And yeah, so I don't even know where to go from here. I'm just really inspired. What do you find, not with people that come that aren't working with you, but once you start working with people, because you have a lot of clients work with you for a long time, which is not a very usual thing either. People generally go through a coaching program and then they're done and they're to the next level, they go to another, and so on. But you have this way of keeping people within your ecosystem, if you will, and excited to be there and supporting you and like just can't get enough. How did you create that? Was it intentional? And whether intentional or not, is it now intentional? And how do you sustain that?
Yeah, I went from one-on-one to groups, and I started to call my groups mastermind programs. Not the first group. The first group was Launch with Passion. I was teaching people launching when I learned it myself. First I learned it myself, and then I started to teach it. And then I said, I love this energy of this group, and I want to be doing groups. And I thought to myself, okay, I want to switch from one-on-one to groups. And I managed to do that very fast. I went from earning $74,000 in my first year business, $164,000 second year when I introduced the groups, $340,000 in the third year, stopping one-on-one, and then $1 million in 2017. And most of my revenue was from mastermind programs. I created 3 levels: Momentum, Accelerator, and VIP. And what I saw that 50% of my clients renewed. Because building a business isn't something that takes 6 or 8 weeks. And even if you work with someone for 12 months, I think I'm a very loyal person myself, and I think I attract people who also are looking for something long-term. They're not looking for the latest things, also, although I do teach that too, but it's like Alexa briefing, we mentioned that just before. But it's more like they're possibly what you say, there are not many out there that have actually an MBA from London Business School, which is one of the top business schools in Europe, and 10 years experience as CEO. So it is, I can help someone start a business. I can help them find the business idea. Inside one of my programs, there's even like this 4-week process where they find their true passion and right business idea just in 4 weeks. And then I can take them from the starting the business to building it and then scaling it. So I have clients who started with me making almost 0, and now they're making multiple 6 figures. And they just continue with me for, many of them have been here with me for 3 years. So in the beginning, I was positively surprised for sure. And now I do have an incentive. So if they have been in a mastermind group, for instance, I make a special offer. I sell my mastermind groups in September for the following year. So several months in advance. I have a live event. And at the live event, I present, hey, here are the mastermind groups for next year. And most of my clients are at the live event. And then I sell many of them out in one day. And it's mostly repeat clients. So they also go up. And I have this, ascension model, where basically their aspiration to move from one group to another. So if you are in Momentum, which is now a group coaching program and it's less of a mastermind, but then they want to go to Accelerator, and they want to go from Accelerator to VIP. And this is on purpose. I want to have people together who have similar goals. So in my VIP mastermind, I say your goal needs to be between $500,000 and $1 million in revenue if you're a fit for this program. And then if you're the other programs, I have different revenue numbers. It's the aspiration. So they wanna see their, and I guess it's because they see the success they've had by working with me, and that makes them just want to have more. So why switch and go to another coach? I think there's a term for this, guru hopping. You see an ad from some guru and you think that's gonna make your business successful to sign up for the new person. But I don't think so. I think actually sticking with one person, well, they have to help you have a return on investment for sure. But sticking with one coach or a program for a long time, it's actually going to lead, more likely to lead to results.
Wonderful. Amazing. So much fun. And I want to have you back. I was just writing a note to myself, so we'll talk after we stop recording, but I'd love to have you back for a masterclass where you can actually like walk us through how to sell out your programs a year in advance.
Yes, I have made over $1 million only with masterminds, and probably at the release of this episode, it's more like $1.5 million just with masterminds, not with my online courses.
Wow.
So we can talk about that for sure. That's a whole hour.
Arrange for that as soon as we stop recording. But as we are still recording and it's coming to the end, I just want to thank you so much for being here, and also ask you, how can my listeners continue getting more from you?
So since they are either watching this or listening, it's very likely that they like that kind of material. So I would say going to the Sigrun show, look at my episodes. I did 100 episodes in 100 days. Yes, I'm a crazy lady. Nicole calls me a crazy lady. But then I went to 3 episodes a week. And it's a mixture of on-air coaching. So people who are my clients, they have the opportunity to apply. And if they have an interesting question, I take them on the show. And then I have guests like yourself. And then I do solo episodes. I think that was very clear for me from the beginning to have that mixture. So yeah, the Sigrun show, and otherwise Sigrun.com. We are at the recording of the show and doing rebranding. So I will not know what is the main thing on my website yet. It's really, so just be curious. Go to my website and check it out.
I love it. And final thoughts, words of wisdom, or anything you really want us to leave here with today?
I go by live with passion. And it's a Tony Robbins quote. And I think every day we should be doing something that inspiring and inspiring others. And I think as podcasters or people who are sharing our message, that should be our mission. And if you are listening, find a way that how you can live more with passion.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for being with us today, Sigrun.
Thank you for having me.